How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its next level savings sale right now, and we are here to highlight some deals under the price of $10. So, a lot of good stuff on sale as a part of the next level savings sale, and we're gonna go over them. So, let us just get right into it. And I want to kick things off with Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. 55% off for $8.99. We see this on sale all the time, 50% off for $9.99. That extra dollar, baby, it goes a long way these days. But yes, it's at $8.99 right now. Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3. For me, for when I got super into gaming, Uncharted has so much meaning to me, and it is such a nostalgic franchise, especially this trilogy of Uncharted, because I was a gigantic fan of the PlayStation 3 right from the get-go. But if you were around the time in gaming, 2007, 2008, and 2009, those were the years where the PlayStation 3 was really struggling. In terms of perception over here in the States as well, Xbox 360 just had a leg up on it. But then in those years as well, PlayStation started low-key putting out these banger exclusives, and it really went into overdrive, I think, in 2009, where you had Killzone 2, Infamous 1, Demon's Souls, Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time, and Uncharted 2 all come out in the same year. And Uncharted 2, in my opinion, was the 2009 game of the year. It was an outstanding, outstanding game, and much like, Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2, Uncharted 2 from Uncharted 1 just improved the game in just about every area, and it still holds up really well. Uncharted 1 absolutely does show its age, and if Bluepoint Games didn't waste like 3 years doing a God of War live service game, it would have been great to see them do a ground-up remake of Uncharted 1. Unfortunately, we cannot have nice things in live services in the future, but nonetheless, Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection is just a fantastic collection of games. If you're a little bit younger, or you just never played the Uncharted games, please go back and play the original 3. They are great, and, remember that these games all came out in the span of, 4 years. These days, Naughty Dog takes, 7 years to put out a new game. They put out Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 all in the span of 4 years. It was insane, it was good times, but, Naughty Dog's kind of washed these days, in my humble opinion, but, it is what it is. $8.99 for the Nathan Drake collection, great pickup there. Next up, we have Weird West Definitive Edition, 85% off for $5.99. I really enjoyed this game. It was a PlayStation Plus title not too long ago, so a lot of you guys have it in your library, but if you don't, $5.99 I think is a really good pickup. What I liked about this game was it was very much emphasized with the decision making. That was a big aspect of the game, but I also felt like the decision making had consequences throughout the game. Like, some games have decision making, like Horizon, for example. Who gives a damn about the decision making in Horizon? Literally nobody cares about the decision making in Horizon. In Weird West, it actually feels a little bit consequential and has ramifications. I feel like if you want to make a game designed around decision making, you gotta have that. In Weird West, not only from a narrative standpoint in terms of dialogue decision, but how you handle situations, I feel like had a consequential element to it that made it rewarding and made it worthwhile to replay. Game's not super lengthy, but you could get a good bit of content out of it, and again, fairly replayable with the decision making, and I like the setting as well. $5.99, not a bad pickup there. Next up, we got Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, 84% off for $9.59. Excellent action flight title, and I think Ace Combat is honestly one of the most underrated franchises in gaming, and Ace Combat 7 I thought was incredibly underrated. I just remember it coming out the same week or around the same time as the Resident Evil 2 remake and Kingdom Hearts 3. What a January of 2019 that was, when you got Ace Combat 7, Resident Evil 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3 all dropping in the span of a week. But Ace Combat 7, certainly the lesser known titles among those 3, but I thought it was a great game, and soundtrack is awesome. That's another underrated aspect. Ace Combat has always had killer soundtracks, and Ace Combat 7 is no different. A lot of over-the-top action gameplay here. $9.59, great pickup there. Definitely recommend that. Assassin's Creed Origins, 85% off for $8.99. Does run at 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5, which you'll love to see. Obviously, my opinion on AC Origins is probably a little bit more negative, because I judge this game on the basis of destroying Assassin's Creed from what I loved. But no, in reality, it was probably time for Assassin's Creed to have a shift, and Origins allowed Ubisoft to monetize these games a lot more, and this style of development just allowed them to monetize these games a lot more, make it a more live servicey experience. Not crazy about it, but I know a lot of people that love AC Origins. I had a fine time with it. I thought it was a good game, but again, my personal opinion is I look at this game being like, man, you had to, from my vantage point, destroy one of the franchises that I absolutely loved. And like every year was the franchise that I knew I could count on Assassin's Creed being a fairly good time, but that's not the case anymore, and AC Origins was the one that caused that shift, or started that shift. But again, it's beloved. I liked Bayek as a character as well, liked the setting, and overall the story was pretty good, gameplay was decent, and for $9, and now being at 60 FPS on PS5, I would still give it a recommendation. RoboCop Rogue City is 85% off for $8.99. Obviously, this game was just a PlayStation Plus Essential title, but I know a lot of people that are just moving away from being a Plus subscriber altogether. You're buying your games digitally, you don't play games online, and if you're in that camp and you have yet to pick up RoboCop Rogue City, $8.99 is a great pickup for it. Like the setting, like the ambiance of the game. You know, if you are not a RoboCop fan, a lot of this game is just serviceable. I think if you are a RoboCop fan, that's what it takes it to the next level, where you appreciate a lot of the attention to detail in the game. So, you know, I still had a good time with it. I have no care in the world for RoboCop. Maybe a set of movies I gotta watch at some point, but nonetheless, $8.99 for RoboCop Rogue City. Middle-earth The Shadow Bundle, 90% off for $6.99. RIP Monolith Productions, you know, just a shame. I saw Warner Brothers Productions recently had like a release where their Q1 revenue report for their gaming division is like 45% down or something like that. And it's like, wow! Look at what happens when you go super heavy on the microtransactions and you try to pop off with Suicide Squad. I'm sure they wanted to monetize Wonder Woman, which was what Monolith was working on. It's just a shame, an absolute shame, and they've been shut down. It's like, you can put out bangers like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War and still get shut down. If that doesn't tell you anything about gaming, man, I don't know what will. But these games were great. Not crazy about Lord of the Rings or anything like that, but from a gameplay standpoint, I thought these games were incredibly satisfying to play, visually great, and more the line of open world games that I'm a fan of, in the sense that they aren't overwhelming. They do have a sizable amount of content, especially Shadow of War, but they're digestible at the end of the day, and I enjoyed that. And $7 for both games, you kidding me? That's a great deal. Dragon Age Inquisition, 75% off for $9.99. Maybe a little bit ago, it was harsh for me to say that Naughty Dog is washed. If anyone wants to argue about BioWare being washed, I don't even know what to say at that point, but Dragon Age Inquisition, for a lot of people, was the last game that they really enjoyed from BioWare. After that, it's been Disaster City, but Dragon Age Inquisition was great, and if you haven't played Origins or Dragon Age 2, Inquisition is still fine to go through. Visually, I thought this game was great, and it still holds up fairly decently, but at the end of the day, it was a cross-gen game. This game came out on PS3 as well, but had a good time with it. A solid RPG for sure, and with the Game of the Year edition, you're getting the bonus content. $9.99, a good pickup there. Would be nice to get a PS5 upgrade, but, you know, it is what it is. Saints Row the Third Remastered, 80% off for $5.99. I remember when Saints Row the Third came out, and I picked it up, I believe the day it came out, and just being, not blown away by it, but laughing at it a lot. And that zaniness and wackiness definitely took Saints Row to another level in terms of, I feel like, the appeal, honestly. And people loved Saints Row 2. I get it. Whenever I talk about Saints Row the Third, it's like, man, you're a casual. You only play Saints Row the Third. I played Saints Row 2 and I liked it, but the zaniness and the wackiness of Saints Row the Third, I do feel like differentiated it from Grand Theft Auto, and it opened the game up to other people checking it out. Unfortunately, Saints Row is now absolutely cooked, and that 2022 game, I think it was 2022, 2021, that game was an atrocity, but nonetheless, the Third is still a really fun time to go back and play. If you want a game that have a long day at work, you get home, and you just want some absolute insanity and chaos, Saints Row the Third will offer you that. So $5.99 on that is pretty good. Scarlet Nexus, 85% off for $8.99. Love this game. Think it's one of the more underrated JRPGs in recent memory. I just thought Scarlet Nexus was awesome, and I remember booting this game up and just being almost like entranced by the menu music of this game. I love the menu music, and I thought the soundtrack to this game overall was really good as well. 2 playable story routes, so it's worthwhile to go through the game twice, and likable characters throughout. You can see that they had to cut some corners from a budget standpoint, where the game doesn't have a ton of cutscenes. A lot of the story is told through these visual novel, style of sequences, but it's still a worthwhile game, man. I thought the gameplay was really good. I would love to see a follow-up, or I'm just curious about what this team is working on. The Scarlet Nexus Code Vein team, I don't know what that team is working on, if they are doing a new game or what's going on there. But yeah, I feel like a lot of like the Bandai Namco JRPG, what they're putting out, a lot of that is a mystery right now. Digimon Time Stranger is coming out later this year, but is there a new Tales of in development? I would imagine yes. And is there something regarding the Scarlet Nexus or Scarlet Nexus 2 or something to that effect coming out in the near future? That would be pretty cool. Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise came out in the span of like 3 months, so, you know, that was back in 2021, so both of those teams' games have to be fairly far along, but it'll be interesting to see if we do hear about those soon. But $8.99 for Scarlet Nexus, great deal there. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered, 80% off for $9.99. When you talk about the PlayStation 3 JRPG lineup, I feel like Ni no Kuni was one that a lot of people gravitated towards. That generation of JRPGs, I feel like, is a little bit looked down upon. You know, Final Fantasy 13 was super divisive. Lost Odyssey was great on the 360. It's kind of getting lost in time, but hopefully Microsoft does a remaster of that. I think there's a demand for a Lost Odyssey remaster. I think if Microsoft sees the success Expedition 33 has had and they don't realize that Lost Odyssey, a release on all major platforms, PlayStation, PC, Xbox, can print them some money, I think they're totally out to lunch, but yeah, hopefully they'll do that. I don't know, you know, where that game lies. I believe Microsoft has the rights to it. Yeah, they published Lost Odyssey, so they should. But yeah, hopefully they do that. But nonetheless, back to Ni no Kuni. Worthwhile game, great visual style, that Studio Ghibli look, and a really charming cast of characters and story as well. $9.99 on that is really good. WipEout Omega Collection, 60% off for $7.99. Love me some WipEout. I remember playing WipEout HD on the PlayStation 3 and just being like, wow, this is a great arcade racer. And you got all that content from WipEout HD, 2048, and WipEout Fury, all in WipEout Omega Collection. $7.99 for an arcade racer like this, I think, is a great pickup. Would it be nice to see WipEout come back, but, you know, we can't have nice things, and we gotta, you know, spend more money on live service games, so it is what it is, but WipEout, great time there. And if you're looking for a good arcade racer, you know, Forza Horizon is now out, but WipEout offers you that wild, futuristic arcade racer that I really dug. So $7.99 on that is great. Clenoa Phantasy Reverie series, 75% off for $9.99. Man, Clenoa is a platforming franchise that is so good but never clipped, and it got multiple opportunities to do so with Clenoa, Clenoa 2, it got a Nintendo Wii remake, and it got this Fantasy Reverie series in this collection. That was really, really well done, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the original release. Great art style, just very, very charming. If you're remotely into platformers, you'll really like that, and $9.99 for both games, definitely a good pickup there. Planet of Lana is 50% off for $9.99, plus subscribers will get it for $8.99. The game notes unique companion-based gameplay, solve puzzles with diverse challenges and quirky twists, carefully navigate dangerous situations using stealth and with using reflexes, and survive challenging action sequences, and discover an epic story that stretches across galaxies and centuries. Game was received really well when it came out in April of last year, and now it's down to $9.99. Scribblenauts Mega Pack is 85% off for $5.99. You got 2 Scribblenauts titles with all new content to explore as well. Scribblenauts Unlimited and Scribblenauts Unmasked DC Comics Adventure. A good time, an accessible game, and a fairly relaxing game as well, so $5.99 for that. I think it's a pretty good deal. And then we have the Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and Valkyria Chronicles 4 Bundle, $7.99, another JRPG franchise that I often go to bat for. Thought it was really, really well done, and I do think these games are worthwhile to play, even if you're not the biggest JRPG fans in the world. If you're not the biggest JRPG fan in the world, I should say, because these games, I feel, don't fall into a lot of the tropes that plague JRPGs that make them, you know, not wanting to be played by a lot of people that play more Western games. These games tell good war stories. They have likable characters, not blow-away characters, but likable characters. And the gameplay is different than a lot of other JRPGs with this tactic style of gameplay. Story is told very well through the use of the storybook. Watercolor visuals, I think, look great. Just really had a great time with it. Hopefully, Valkyria Chronicles at some point will get some more love from Sega. I get it that it's a franchise that might not be something they want to invest into, but I really like VC1 and 4, and VC4 takes place concurrently with VC1, so you don't even have to play VC1, but you're getting both in this bundle. Definitely worthwhile to go through those. But that's going to do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $10. Go check them out. Links to all of these in the description box below. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Sound off with your thoughts down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.